And like usual, we'll start with sharing the screen. Okay, you can all see the screen, right? Okay. Okay, so I had to reduce it to stop the echo. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so veils of misery. So in the last chapter, we read about 3 kinds of tapas, right? Anybody remember? We can do a very quick 5-minute review. 3 kinds of tapas.
Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic.
Tamasic, yeah. Tamasic is when you are hurting yourself. Rajasic when you are showing off, and Sattvic is the right kind. And then 3 levels of tapas. Mind, yeah.
Speech.
Body, mind, and speech.
Speech.
Yeah. Okay. So in the level of speech, we don't we speak the truth, but we speak it pleasantly, and we don't hurt other people with our words because the karma comes back to us. And also on the path of yoga, we become powerful. Our speech becomes powerful. So we only have to bless. Okay. Level of body.
Be
Tapas
kind to the
involves,
body.
okay, taking care of the body, like cleanliness, not being lazy, all that. And mind, pleasant mind,
Mind.
happy mind, and happiness alone is not enough. It also
Equanimity.
needs equanimity. That's right. And then the last one is, anybody remember? That is for surrender to the divine.
Ishvara Pranidhana.
Yeah, so those bring us back to the center again and again. Okay, so now we get to the next chapter, veils of misery. What does tapas do? It purifies and strengthens our system. Tapas can bring big ego also, right? Yeah, so that is why proper attitude is necessary. Tapas goes with swadhyaya, self-study. Otherwise, you cultivate big ego. Many times you are not clear about what you want. And this is another reason why you want to do self-study. Self-study also involves understanding what's it I really want. Sometimes you might be doing tapas because everybody is saying you have to do this, you have to do that, right? So do self-study. So Buddha defined tapas to be self-study to be, Buddha said this beautifully, kayanupaschana. So observe the sensations in the body. And he also said observe the thoughts, observe the feelings, right? So those are the three things. Kayanupaschana, Vedananupaschana. Vedana is like, sensations. And Chittanupaschana is thoughts. So Buddha said 3 levels. First one is the body level. If you are feeling any sensation, second Vedananupashchana, sensations also, Chittanupashchana, thoughts.
Mind.
Yeah. And why is it important to have self-surrender? It's very boring to do self-study unless you have that sense of devotion and surrender. Ishvara Pranidhana brings about samadhi or ecstasy. Only when you have surrendered to the divine, it brings bliss and samadhi. So, what does it mean to have Ishvara Pranidhana or surrender to divine? Offer all those vasanas or things you consider to be your negative points to the divine. So Gurudev says often, you don't need to offer the good things, but more important, start offering the things that you don't like about yourself. Offer all those vasanas or things you consider to be your negative points. And it's important because that's the way you become free from your negative. And why do we offer all our positive virtues?
Is it to let go of the ego?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that way, we let go of the ego. Okay. Um, Tapasvadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. So Gurudev is just reviewing. Last chapter we did Kriya Yoga. The definition is it includes tapas, swadhyaya, self-study, and surrender to the divine. And when you get into yoga, what happens? Through these three, combination of these three, you become the witness. And being witness, what begins to happen? That is the next sutra. Purpose of this is klesha tanukarana. Klesha is what?
Misery.
Misery. So this chapter is about veils of misery. So being in that state of yoga, it reduces misery. And then the second advantage is samadhi bhavana arthascha. It brings about samadhi, harmony, equanimity in our life. So yoga, by practicing three things, reduces misery and it also brings about harmony. Okay, so what are the causes of misery? So that is what
Avidya,
we are.
Smita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinavesha.
Okay, so there are 5 causes of misery. 5 veils or 5 causes. First one is ignorance, which is ignorance is avidya. So avidya is thinking what is changing to be permanent.
Permanent.
Yeah. And what is changing?
Body, thoughts, any.
Body is changing every day.
Yeah.
First of all, we don't understand the mechanics of why the body is changing. So Gurudev beautifully explains all the cells in the body are getting
Destroyed.
destroyed and redone.
Rejuvenation.
So if you look at your body after 1 year, all the cells are new, right? So the body is changing. But most of the time, the mind considers the body to be the permanent one.
Right.
Second one is thoughts. right? Thoughts are changing, or concepts are changing, but many people have a fixed idea about who you are.
Mm.
We say, like, I am lazy, right? So then that's it. It destroys the next step for you, isn't it?
Mm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second one, so those are the first one is avidya. What is permanent, you think is
Change. I mean, it's the vice versa, right?
vice versa. What is changing, you think permanent, and the first and foremost in that is
Body and then mind.
body is changing
Yeah.
and the mind is changing.
What I really like, Krishnaji, was when this the analogy given that body is like a river. Never thought on those lines ever. It's like body is
Uh,
like changing river where everything is changing. It's a beautiful analogy, which we would never try to relate with the body. We would relate with so many other things, but we'd never relate with the body.
It's
uh-huh.
true. Yeah. So more times we come back to this knowledge, it does something
So
little
true.
bit more deeper, and then this point recognition becomes deeper and deeper.
It's true.
Asmita is becoming one with our intellect and ourself.
Uh-huh.
So we think that, our concepts, our intellect, our logic is
Right.
ourself.
Mm.
Yeah? But our self is more than our intellect.
Yeah.
And then next,
Raga,
raga is craving,
craving.
Mm.
which comes with
Is
Pleasant
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 experience.
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 Do you get craving with unpleasant experience?
No, we get
No,
aversion.
you get aversion. Yeah. So craving comes from pleasant experience. Hatred and aversion comes with an
Yeah.
unpleasant experience. So in life, we are having experiences. It's either good or bad.
Yeah.
So based on that, what comes?
Craving or aversion or
Aversion.
hatred. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not, it's unavoidable, right?
Mm.
Experience keep happening, and so okay. So and then the last one is Abhinavesha, is like a
Yeah.
Fear.
alertness, fear, something. So here Patanjali is saying nature has imposed all five things in everybody. Everybody that's born, nature has given all these five, right?
Mhm.
What are they?
Ignorance.
Ignorance, quick,
Asmita,
ignorance, asmita,
Craving.
Raga,
me, I.
Deha,
Craving.
me, I,
Raga,
craving,
Dvesha,
aversion,
Abhinavesha.
Anger.
abhinavesha. And
Hatred.
just remember, nature has imposed all these five things. So this is why this knowledge is very nice, because otherwise we blame ourselves, isn't it? You say
Uh-huh.
like, I have too many cravings, I have too many aversions, I am like, stuck to my concepts, right? So so understanding the fact that everybody is endowed with all these five things. How thin this can get, or how thick it will remain, makes you either evolved or not evolved. This is easy logic to understand, right?
yeah, we should.
If you make it thin, you are evolved. If you keep it thick, then you are not evolved. And then there are 4 stages in these 5. 4 what intensities. So, and then Gurudev defines these prashupta, dormant. So at times you notice that you don't have craving, you don't have aversion, but it doesn't mean it's gone away, right? We all have this experience. So that is called the prasupta or the dormant state. They are little, very feeble, very dormant. Next one is vichinna.
Chinna.
What is it?
Dominant.
Yeah.
One of
One
them
becomes
becomes
dominant, so the others have to go back to the background. This is clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're in rage because of aversion, all the others don't matter.
So Vichina is dormant, or the other one which is in the background?
Yeah,
Prasupta.
vichinna is actually dominant here. When one of them becomes dominant,
Dominant.
the
Oh,
others
okay, dominant. The other.
dominant. Okay. Sadhana makes these glaciers thin. It's clear, right?
Yeah.
Without doing sadhana, then they remain what? Dormant. And then the last one is udara,
Udara.
generous. So those who are not on the path, they have all the 5 in a generous sprinkling. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's recap 5 kinds of miseries, and they can be in 4 levels of intensity. What are they?
Avita, that's ignorance. Then raga, dvesha.
cravings.
Yeah, that's cravings. Raga, dvesha is hatred. No, dvesha is aversion. Raga, dvesha. Fear. Asmita, yeah. Fear.
Fear.
No,
Yeah.
Asmita is Mimi I.
Sorry, what is it, Shamla?
I thought Asmita was Mimi I, identifying with the ego.
So that's also one of the miseries, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are the 4 levels of intensities?
Sukta, that's sleepy, dormant. Then there's tanu, very little, very feeble.
Yeah.
Vichina, which is dominant.
One becomes dominant, other becomes dormant.
Dormant.
And then the last one?
Udara.
Udara, generous.
Yeah.
And then through sadhana, we are able to make it
Thin.
Yeah. Okay, now Gurudev goes into the last one, Abhinavesha. So there is a sutra which talks about, like the nature of this Abhinavesha. So Patanjali says, even Vidushopi, Vidusho is like a wise person also, there is little bit of this, little bit of what?
Abhinavesha.
Abhinavesha. So in this context, Gurudev says it's Abhinavesha is not fear. There is another word in Sanskrit called bhaya for fear.
Yeah.
So Abhinavesha is not that kind of fear, but it's, something which is like, is useful for maintaining the body. And here Gurudev is explaining a baby doesn't have fear, right? It can just walk to the edge of a dining table and just fall off. So this little bit of fear is put by nature, so the mind will sustain the body, protect the body. Okay, so we looked at 5 kleshas and their 4 levels of intensity. Te prati prasavaheya sukshmaha. When you make them subtler and subtler, sukshma, they let you come back to yourself. Prati prasavaheya. So they let you come back to the self. So there is a implication, contrarian implication. What does it mean?
Sadhana, you have to do sadhana on this.
Yeah. So if you don't, then it's difficult for you to come back to the self. Okay? So everyday practice is to bring ourselves back to the self and reduce the severity of these 5 kleshas. Okay, next sutra, Dhyana heyas tadvrittayaha. These 5 vrittis can be eliminated through meditation. So Patanjali is coming to, we discussed it as sadhana, right? So now Patanjali Sutra, it's saying Dhyana heyas tadvrittayaha. Heya can be cut through dhyana. What can be cut? The vrittayas, the 5 kleshas.
5 vrittis, yeah.
Krishna, I have a
Klesha.
question here with Dhyana. Now, here they talk about Dhyana is like meditation, right? And somewhere I've also said Dhyana is concentration. So is this meditation with concentration is Dhyana?
Yeah. So, Patanjali further defines dhyana. Dhyana is not concentration. So, Gurudev explains it beautifully. You start with bringing your awareness to a certain thing momentarily. That is dhyana. But then at that point, you have to let go.
Yeah, Guruji always says, bring your attention very momentarily and then let it go. Don't focus too much. He always keeps saying that. But at the same time, when I was reading, I was very confused with what is dharana, dhyana, and some places they talk about concentration and meditation. I was just like confused with the 3.
Is it in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra commentaries of Gurudev?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, dhyana and
is
dharana, right?
dharana is concentration. So
And that is, where is the role of dharana? Actually, is it before the meditation you start? I mean, I'm a little confused. Like, where is dharana used?
Yeah, in Sahaj, everybody has done Sahaj here. So dharana is like, you are settling your mind down, and then the first 3 times you take your mantra. You are taking it with full attention, remember?
That is dharana.
Yeah, full attention, like totally. So dharana. And then, towards the end of it, you just let go.
Let go.
Yeah. Then you're getting into dhyana at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So you
Dharana leads to dhyana, right?
it should.
It should. Dharana needs. Yeah.
It should if you are practicing it properly.
I feel like dharana is like focus, and then dhyana is concentration.
No, not concentration.
Okay.
Yeah. So your mind is still around that thing. You have taken the mantra, like with full awareness, that is focus, and then your mind is still hovering around it. So that is dhyana.
Okay.
Klesha mula karma ashayo drishta drishta janma vedanaya. What happens if you don't address the kleshas? What happens?
There's no
To
way
be
to
suffer
relieve our
this
miseries.
life and next life.
You take it forward.
You take it forward. Klesha mula means if these kleshas remain, karma ashaya, and in addition you already have all these karmas are all there. Karma effect. So both together bring you drishta adrishta janma vedanaya. Some you can foresee, some you cannot even foresee about these miseries.
So basically, you're a mess.
Basically, you are in the bell curve,
Okay.
top of the bell curve. You can think like that. And what Patanjali calls what is the word? The fourth one? Udara.
Dhyana.
Udara
Yes.
is the top of the bell curve. There, yeah. Karma Ashya is bank of karma. So here Gurudev goes on to explain, how does this drishta thing happen? It is just like the way seeds grow. Some seeds sprout in 2 days, some take 10 years, some give fruit after 3 generations. Right?
But isn't this the promise of Kriya Yoga is to reduce the karma, right? It takes away that karma. Isn't that the promise of Kriya Yoga? Doing the breathing and all that. Through that, you kind of dilute or make it thinner, your karma layer.
That's right. Yeah. So this sutra, Klesha Mula Karma Ashayo Drishta Drishta Janma Vedana, is Patanjali is talking about if not. If you are not engaging in reducing the kleshas. Okay, next one is Sati Mule Tad Vipako Jati Ayur Bhoga. Mula is like the root or the seed. Sati Mule, if the seed is present. So then you get, based on what is remaining, you get Jati, Ayur, and Bhoga. So 3 things are decided by the seed from the past. What are they?
The body that you get.
Type of body you get.
Where you are born.
Where you are born. What did you say?
Where you are born. It says body you come in and where you are born.
Okay.
Length of your life.
Length of your life. And then the last one.
And whether you enjoy suffering or pleasure.
Yeah. How much you enjoy.
Mhm.
How much you enjoy is dictated by Sati Mule Tadvipako. There is seed and it's coming to fruition. So based on that, you get the type of body, span of life, and the enjoyments. So here Gurudev is explaining the mechanics of rebirth, and one person can be born in a rich society, one in poverty. And if you try to think about this through logic, you cannot get any answers. But this particular sutra provides sort of clues about it. And Gurudev is also explaining about the nature of rebirth. It is just like, you keep certain idea, thought before you fall asleep. When you have become awake next morning, that
Manifest.
same thing comes up. Yeah, so same thing at the end of current lifespan, whatever is the predominant thought, based on that, the next one will be decided. And he gives two stories. What are the two stories?
Ajamila.
Ajamila story, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the Ajamila story?
He didn't believe in God, but his son was named Narayan. And so at the end, even though he didn't pray or worship God, he called out his son and then he was liberated.
Yeah.
Because he took God's name.
So it illustrates, what is the last moment, what are type of thoughts that arise, that dictate the next one. And the next story is Jada
Bharat, yeah.
Yeah. So what is Jada Bharat's story?
About the deer. He
Yes.
found this deer who was injured and he took care of it, looked into his eyes and was moved by it. Next life he's born as a deer.
Yes. Yeah. Who was Jada Bharat?
An enlightened person.
Enlightened, yeah.
Saint.
He is a saint. He's a saint, yeah.
But isn't it unfair to him, Krishnaji? He was just trying to help the deer.
Why do you say that? Here we have people take care of dogs more than any valued child. Isn't that
No.
the same
I
thing?
agree, Shamla. I agree that part. But here he was a saint, and when he saw, he
So what? He was a good
taking care of
deer.
the
He was a
deer.
very high-spirited deer when he was born again. Why do we have to think that deer is lower than us?
No, but I think it's the attachment that he had.
I think that's what they're trying to say, that we should not have any attachment to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about lower or higher. I agree, Shamla, but I'm just trying to see that, after, he being a saint, why didn't he get liberated versus came back again and in the form of a deer? So
maybe he had something more to teach people. I don't know.
But I think the humans have the higher consciousness than any other animal, right? That's why we are kind of...
that's why it's told, right? At least this is the only form of body where we could get liberated.
Yeah.
So, Krishnaji, what do you think? Is it about the attachment? We are...
Yeah, so this whole chapter is about veils of ignorance, right? So what are the 5 veils?
Again, raga is one craving, aversion, avidya,
So he didn't have avidya, right?
No.
It was not avidya, it was not aversion.
Asmita.
It was craving.
No raga,
Was
dvesha,
it raga?
abhinavesha.
It's the raga, I think.
It's a
Raga,
raga
it's
craving.
not craving, is
No.
it's just a attachment from
Mm.
raga.
Yeah, I mean, in his case, but within these 5 veils and miseries, it actually falls in that raga category, right?
Yes.
Though
And
his
what
was
does the
attachment.
sutra say? What does the sutra say? Nature is designed like that.
Mm.
Mm.
Nature is designed. And what is the design?
That everyone has
Sati
all
Mule.
these 5.
Sati Mule, if any of those 5 are there as seed form,
Hmm.
and when they sprout, you get the next birth.
Mm.
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 And what is the next birth? Jati, body,
The length, yeah, the
length,
duration of your life.
yeah, duration of
Yeah.
the life.
Where you're born.
We're
Actually,
happy
this
you're
makes so much sense.
sad.
Mm. Hmm.
And that's why you have to remember, even in Jada Bharat case,
Hmm.
okay, he got a deer's body, but he was born with full memory.
Hmm.
Mm.
That is Bhoga, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
he had the lifespan of a deer, but he had the full, the Bhoga, the last one.
Uh-huh.
But
Because he
he is
was,
an enlightened saint, right? So he already kind of, what do you say? He overcame all those things, all the klishas and all. He doesn't have any thing, but still he got attached to it. Is it because that he's not still concentrated or not concentrated? He's not aware of what he was doing when he was looking at the deer. He's already
the
enlightened, right?
the Jada Bharat story is just an illustration
Uh-huh.
that even though you are on the path and you are very advanced, don't let your guards down.
Huh.
Got it. Makes sense.
If we keep going into too much into it's an illustration, then we can get sidetracked.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is just
Sadly,
a
yeah.
word of caution that nature is like this. If there is a seed, then you will get your next birth, and based on whatever the seed is, you get the jati, you get the lifespan, and you get the enjoyment.
Hmm.
And in case of Jada Bharat, it was just that last minute he had this little attachment, because of that he got the body. But the rest of it, he kept all of his spirituality, and then, he took very quickly, he went on to the next birth, isn't it?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there is no guarantee, even if you are enlightened person, you are not guaranteed. So throughout your existence, you have to keep that guard on. Even if you're off as it, but you can derail yourself.
Have
Yeah,
to
so
maintain it constantly, I guess.
Sorry, but it is.
I
All
like the
the
way
yeah,
you're
guard.
saying, Rekha. There's no guaranteed seat.
I
Okay.
don't
I,
think
I
it is.
really look at it a little bit differently, all this thing, even the birth, because many times I've seen, like, in temples, these elephants or whatever, they're so much always with the god, with the deity. I mean, I wonder, even their lives are so, it's different, the path of their lives also. So I don't know why we kind of look like, that is not as high as a human life or whatever. I think maybe for a short time they do that, but I'm sure in there also there is some elevation of the consciousness. I'm sure in them also.
Hmm.
Yes, of course. Yeah, they do have consciousness, even
I mean,
ant and
and of
mouse.
course, yeah, we are not saying anyone is lower than. It's just that I think this is what said that because of the higher consciousness, the human body, you're able to get over some of the aversions and all these cravings and be able to be in a good path on a karma yoga. But you're rightly saying about some of these animals who are in that positive environment. I'm sure it helps them.
Yeah, it's true. But here, just read this sentence.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Jada Bharat has been quoted throughout. It is just to tell you that the last impression is the most
Important.
important.
Hmm.
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 So just to keep us on the guard, the story is told to us. Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, so just take it like that instead of like, oh, it's a punishment. It's not a punishment.
Sure.
Maybe since he was an enlightened being and he noticed that, oh, what is this? The last impression is about a deer. And he said, okay, nature's design is this, so I will take a deer's body. Right?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, otherwise there is no reason how he would go out of the deer's body immediately into another human body to become a great teacher, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So then the last sutra, I think, te hlada paritapa phala punya apunya hetutvat. It depends on the merit and demerits that you have done. Which one? Of the three? Jatiyayu Bhoga. Bhoga, based on the merit and demerits, you will get your enjoyments in the next life. Okay, so and then Gurudev here says, though you sometimes sit feeling bored, never mind. Know that you are burning some old seeds of boredom. What is this referring to sit?
Is it meditation he's talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So always remember when you're like sitting for meditation or sadhana and you're feeling totally bored, yes, tell yourself, you're burning some old seeds, right?
Yeah.
And here, Gurudev is saying the way to get over your boredom is to kindle the challenge in you. So take care of your boredom and sit every day, twice a day. Good?
It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Thank you.
I was just thinking, if our mind is also evolving or kind of say getting better, does the physical body also respond to it?
Definitely.
Is there evolution in our body too, in the cells, I mean?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
It has to be, right? So,
Yeah.
The physical body responds, meaning what?
If the mind is calm, like Guruji says, the body is the wick of the candle, the glow is the mind. So if the mind is bright, the wick, it has to keep burning brightly.
I like the way you explained it, Shamla.
No, that's what Guruji says.
No, you're right. But I'm just saying that, you have put this in a very, practical way that, if the glow is
you
bright
see,
enough.
right? I mean, when people are bogged down, most of the illnesses come from stress, right?
Of course.
So that mind is stress-free, then you feel so much better.
So true.
It's true, right?
Absolutely.
I was very, very floored when I first heard that,